Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, today I want to talk about Boruto's potential time skip in the future. This right here was definitely something that was heavily requested, and of course I definitely do want to talk about it as well, because a Boruto time skip is probably one of the more interesting things of the series as of right now. There are some actual evidence that could possibly back up a potential time skip coming very, very soon, and this right here is going to be statements from the actual Boruto writers, which is going to be Ikimoto. Ikimoto said that he wanted Boruto to be about 30 volumes long. Right now we just ended volume 15. Now because we're at 15, and of course 15 is halfway through 30, people thought that starting the next chapter we're probably going to get to see a time skip. I never really thought that was the case. The temperature never really felt right, and especially at this particular point the writer has actually changed. It actually went from Kodachi to Masashi Kishimoto, and we all know once that change actually happened, there's a lot of gray area at this particular point, and a lot of people haven't necessarily been talking about this recently. Is the fact that Ikimoto went to Jump Fest, which was like literally a couple months ago, I believe. I think it was like 6 months ago. Ikimoto said at Jump Fest that the time where Boruto and Kawaki take on that grown-up form is not that far away, which again pretty much means that the time skip is quote-unquote not that far away. Again, I have to reiterate, because of the change in writers from Kodachi to Kishimoto, we have to take this with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure like this right is probably the most damaged evidence that we could possibly have that a time skip is definitely imminent. One of the things that I definitely do want to point out about Ikimoto's comment at Jump Festa, we have to also take those with a grain of salt, mainly because I remember I think like 2-3 years ago he said that we'd finally see Kawaki walking and talking in the Boruto anime, and we didn't get that in that year. But I do have to give him a caveat, mainly because that was like a COVID shortened year for the Boruto anime. We did miss like I think 2 or 3 months of the Boruto anime. Right when it ended, we were actually going into a lot of the Kata organization stuff, so I have to give him a little bit of a leeway for that. But either way, when Ikimoto says things are close, things are around the corner, it might just be a year away. So I want you guys to take that with a grain of salt. So in my opinion, I think the best thing that we could possibly take from that comment right there is probably like the time skip is like a year away. So that would possibly mean the next Jump Fest, which would then be December, and that right there will actually line up with the temperature of the Boruto series. As of right now, one thing that's been a hot topic is the fact that the Boruto anime is moving at an extremely rapid pace. They are literally animating like a chapter per episode in the Boruto anime, and because of that, there's definitely that fear that the anime could potentially catch up to the Boruto manga. Now, if it were to actually continue at this pace, the anime would actually catch up to the Boruto manga around the time of Jump Fest. And if you guys don't necessarily know about Jump Fest, the Jump Fest is pretty much the time where a lot of the anime and manga series come together and to have a bunch of their announcements. So of course, if the anime catches up to the manga, it would then be a perfect time to announce like, hey, Boruto is now going into a time skip, and we're going to get to see a lot of the future stuff very, very soon. And not only that, if the Boruto anime actually does catch up to the time skip, it would then give the Boruto manga a lot of leeway to build up space, so the anime doesn't actually surpass the Boruto manga, which is then always going to be the goal for the Boruto series. But now the concept of the manga right now is looking very, very interesting. It really seems like they're trying to angle for a time skip. One of the things that was pretty much pointed out last month is the fact that a lot of them want to go into training, and we know from pretty much every time skip of the whole time, all the characters through a time skip, they train, they get stronger, and they go on a completely different level. And because they made it so vocal that they want to train, it makes us think that they're probably going to go into a time skip, and obviously that would definitely be a very good thing. But not only that, on the other side, when it comes to the villains, it seems like they're kind of angling for a time skip as well when it comes to Eida and Code. In the last chapter of the Boruto manga, Eida said that they're going to wait for the right time to actually attack Naruto and everybody else from the Hidden Leaf Village, and that right there can honestly mean anything. It could possibly mean next week, next month, or quote unquote the next 3 years of the Boruto manga, which then gives Boruto and everybody else the time to have a time skip. As of right now, they're not necessarily trying to attack Amato and Naruto because everybody is on high alert. We understand what the situation is, and of course they understand themselves what happened to the last Kata member that actually tried to attack the Hidden Leaf Village. Not only the last Kata member, but also the last Otsutsuki member that tried to attack the Hidden Leaf Village. It didn't necessarily go pretty. I'm pretty sure they want to live past that actual battle, so it doesn't necessarily make sense for them to attack right now. But again, if that hypothetically was the case, it wouldn't necessarily match up with the idea that I did have of the time skip happening later on in December, because of course that would give us about 6 more chapters until then. But in my opinion, I think it doesn't necessarily have to wait until December. I think at any particular moment, because of the Boruto fans right now, we are pretty much begging for a time skip. A lot of people aren't necessarily too interested with the Boruto manga because we just came off of literally a cascade of huge fights in the Boruto manga. Anything they do right now, it can't really top what we just seen, especially with Naruto going into his Baryon mode. That right there was absolutely insane. So I personally believe the most entertaining thing that the Boruto manga can actually do is actually go into a time skip. Now, when inevitably the Boruto manga goes into a time skip, another question is going to be, what does the anime do? Hypothetically, let's say the Boruto anime catches up to the Boruto manga in possibly like the next couple of months. I don't necessarily think that they'd go straight into adapting the time skip. I personally believe that there would have to be a couple of anime only arcs to kind of buffer the time between the Boruto manga and the Boruto anime. And I personally think that there could be a bunch of anime only content. For example, a Team 7 training arc where we get to see an in-depth training session between Boruto and Sasuke, potentially Sarada and Kakashi, or Sarada and Orochimaru, or even Sarada and Sasuke, and also Mitsuki and Orochimaru, and also Kawaki and Naruto, things like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would want to see. And also how Boruto and the rest of Team 7 expand their bag. Are you going to give Kawaki the Rasengan? Are they going to do something with the Tail Beats currently that's pretty much floating around the ninja world as of right now? A whole bunch of things like that could potentially be taking place. And not only that, you could also give us a backstory about the Otsutsuki clan. A lot of people really do want to see what the Otsutsuki's origins are, and of course, if there is actually an Otsutsuki planet where just a bunch of Otsutsuki clan members are just there, just chilling like a regular Earth, where a bunch of humans are just chilling on Earth. And one of my personal pipe dreams is going to have to be Masashi Kishimoto kind of backtracking upon what Kodachi did to Naruto and Sasuke in regards to quote-unquote nerfing. Hey, maybe Naruto steals a part of the 10 tails inside of him and Sasuke gets his Rinnegan back. There's just literally a lot of content that the Boruto writers can actually exploit in regards to anime only content that the Boruto fan base would actually like to see. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Give me your opinions. When do you guys think the Boruto time skip is actually going to happen? If I would actually give my opinion, I would personally say around December, around Jump Festa. I think that would probably be like one of the best times to actually do it. But also, if that is the case, give me some of the anime only arcs that you guys would want to see in the comment section below. But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.